Hey, what is going on, guys? I haven't done a Photoshop tutorial on channel art in really long time, and I thought I would try and show you how to make a sort of basic template like this, where you could basically put anything you want in the background and stuff, and it would look really nice. Like if I go inside here, and then let's see if I actually have background enabled. If I pick something like this, for example, and just drop the opacity down to like 10. Sorry about that. Forgot that I'm actually on speaker right now. But if I just do something like that, save it, and then let it save through, then you could have something really nice like this. But I'm going to try and show you how to make a basic template like this, and I'll try and be as detailed as possible, and I'll try not to leave anything out, because I know you guys complain about me going too fast and you just want to learn and stuff like that. So I'm going to try and show you something really advanced today. But what you want to do is you want to go to File, New, 2560 by 144, and you basically just want to copy this. The resolution, I would say lowest, I would go to about 74 in the resolution. It doesn't really matter, but I just usually keep them around 300. And then basically you can just copy everything on here, and I basically have templates and stuff like this here. So I've already set up one here. And for the safe areas, for the ruler, if you want a ruler, what you have to do, if your ruler is not showing up on top, if it's like this, you want to hold down Control and press R. And if I say Control and you're on Mac, then it's Command. Yes, I'm going very detailed because people complain that I don't explain enough. So there you have your basic area, and you can get this template off YouTube if you just Google it. But just in case you don't know how to do that, I have set up some boxes here. And for your boxes, you just basically want to make them this size. If you don't even know how to do that, like if you're a complete beginner, you just create a box. This is the width, that's the height. So then you go into your property section, and if you don't have windows like this and you want to drag them on, you just go to Windows, and all your windows will be here. Just click one, and then you can drag it on like that. Anyway, if you don't want it, you can just go there. I actually forgot how to do this. Right click it, then close. So there's the width, so you just go into your properties, which will be here, type in 1545, go into your height, and then type in 422, sorry. There we go, and I'm going to make this a different color by double clicking that area over there. And then you want to hold down Control, and you'll have a background layer. So this is our rectangle, which should be somewhere around there. Hold down Control and then click on the background, so you have both of them selected. Then you press this button over here, which will align it to the center and align it to, and this one will align it horizontally. So you have the safe area. So basically you should have something like that. And then all you want to do is you want to take your rulers while selecting that rectangle, and then snap it to the edges, and then you basically create another box for that area and that area as well. And then basically this is the only area you see. What you see over here is what you usually see on the desktop banner, and the rest is just for TV and so on. So I'm going to delete that. This is the main safe area. This is as small as it will get for like mobile and stuff. So anything in here will show on mobile. There, I believe that will show on iPads, and then the rest will show on desktop, and then the black area will show on TVs and stuff, which is very rare, but that's why we're going to make an effect like that, just in case it is. So now we're going to get into it. So basically you have all your guides. I'm going to delete all of this, and if your guides aren't showing up, just hold down Control, click, I don't even know what this button is called, so I'm just going to write it down in here. Actually, I have no idea what this button's called, so I'm just gonna make it really big like this. It is this one. So hold down Control, press that button. If you find it on the keyboard, and then I'll basically toggle them on and off. But I'm gonna go off the top of my head. I have not done this yet, so I'm going to try and do it as well as possible. I'm just gonna make sure that I'm recording my voice. Okay, I've already gone 5 minutes into this, just showing you how to do this. So I might split it up into multiple tutorials. I don't know. First, you want to save it as a name. I always do this just in case. because I don't know why that keeps popping up. So how are we going to start this off? What we can do is let's do this first. We're going to create a base layer. So we're going to go and create a rectangle. My bad, didn't need to do that. Create a rectangle, hold down Control, press T. That will basically allow you to resize it to whatever size. You just want to snap it onto the edges here. And then make it a color like red. Then you want to go to right click, convert to smart object. What that does is it makes it into its own, how can I say, its own, what is this called? Own window document sort of thing. So if I double click on this piece here, there we have it again. And if I go and change, if I make a red box, whoops. If I go and make a green box in here, there's the green box. Once I go save, it will then update to this side. So this is basically an image, and then these are the things inside the image that you change. So it's gonna readjust this back to the center. And why we're doing that is because if I duplicate this again and move it over to the side, here you can see we have two of them. And then if I go and change this to yellow, save it, then it updates both of them at the same time. And that's how we make the three of them, and then they just update automatically. So this is what we're starting off with, okay? I'm going to delete this, make this back to red. I'm gonna save it, and then I'm gonna go in and delete one of these. They're basically the same thing, so we're back to where we started off here. So here we have our smart object. I don't even know what I call this. I'm just gonna call this channel art. And then I'm going to save this file, click OK. And then we're going to be working inside of this thing, which is called rectangle. I'm just going to close this quickly, and then let me just rename it to channel art. Then I'm going to go back in there. This is our BG, our background. I'm going to name it BG. This will be our background layer. And if you want to go for a dark theme like this, I can show you how to do both. That might take even longer, but we're going to start off with a dark theme with a black. Then we're going to drag in an image that we're going to use. So graphics, wallpapers, we're going to use, I don't want to use that again. What can I use? We want to find something that's nice and scented. I guess I could use this. We're going to use a lot of folders. I actually wonder what size this is. This is a very weird size. That's a weird size. Anyway, I'm going to resize this to a larger file. Then we're going to make a new group called BG images. These are background images. We're going to drag it into the group. If you want to create a new group, you just click that, or you can press Ctrl-G, I believe, yeah. And that'll create a new group. So we're going to delete that. Then this, we're going to make around 30%-ish. I don't want to do this. This is actually really tricky. Okay, I'm just going to go off the top of my head, just the general things that I know. So this will make around 30%-ish, or 20%. Then we are going to create a gradient map. This is what gives it that cool color. You can choose whatever color you want. If you want it to be a light blue one or whatever, I think we can go for blue. Blue would seem cool. And then we are going to drag this out of here. I can get it out of there. I don't know why it's gone. Oh, you also want to make sure this is black. This isn't black. There we go. Alright, so that looks cool. We're going to just remove the one out of there because it looks weird. Then we're going to go and, I don't know why it feels like I'm not recording my voice. We're going to create a gradient, and we're just going to make sure it fades off the edges here. So we're going to go inside here, make sure this is black. And I think the reason why it's not black is because that isn't black. So let's just do that. Gonna do that. Then we are going to change this degrees to 0. So it's gonna come off the edge there. Then we're going to change it to reflected. So it's gonna reflect on both sides. Then we're gonna reverse it. And I'm gonna just change it to white so you guys can actually see what's going on. That's what we're creating over there. Change that back to black. Or let's just change it to white. And then we're going to make this smaller to the point where it's like 30. See, now it's fading off the side. So if I make it 35, it's going to fade a bit more. And I think 40 is fine. And then if I change this to black, Then we basically just have a fade off. So if I go inside my BG images, background images, and I add something else that's more noticeable, like this, that's not more noticeable. If I make this 100%, you can see it fades off the edges because of that gradient map. So now if we go in here, that's what we have. If we go in here, we go save. We pop into here, there it's updated. Now, I think we should do the basic text and stuff first, and then we will go and edit the background nicely. So let's say this is some sort of, let's say this is called, I'm just going to say your name. And I'm going to go and change this to a white. We're going to make this above there. We're going to make it a lot smaller, like 200 or so. Around 200 is fine. We're going to change the font to Bebas. Bebas is just generally a nice font. We're going to make sure that it's centered this way, so that if we edit the names and stuff, it's centered that way. And your name. I'm going to center it you also want to go and say layer new background from layer with your rectangle, and then you just save it, and then it'll update through here. So why we're making this a background layer is because if we try and center these things and we center it like that, it can offset the center, and then the rectangle could move around. So we're just making this a base, like a rock point that we can use just to center everything, so it's all symmetry and stuff like that. So here we have your name. We're also going to go and create some, let's say you have an Instagram, we're going to call this @yourname. @yourname. Here you can use whatever font you want. What do I want to use? I'm going to use Open Sans for this one. Then I'll make the font like 50 size or so. Why is it? This font feels weird. That's why. I have this ticked. That should not be ticked. Sorry. This should not be on. There, it looks a lot better now. So. Then we're going to make sure that this is actually centered on the left side, so that if we're typing, it goes off to the left and not centered that way. Your name. Then we're going to take if you want the stuff that I'm using now, it's on my graphics store. You can get this stuff for free. Basically everything I'm using here you'll find on my graphics store. So these are the icons. Why it's not dragging in is because I have this selected. So I'm going to take that. This will be the Instagram. It's going to go to blending options, right click blending options, color overlay, change that to white, and change this to normal, 100%. Then we go here. I wish I was streaming this, because if I could like, I could just ask you if I'm going too fast, because I'm sort of asking myself, am I going too fast? But I can't really tell if I am or not, because I've just been doing this for a long time. So we're going to duplicate it by holding Alt and then dragging down. That duplicates it. I'm holding down Shift so I can center it straight, and then if you go and hold down Shift this way, it will center it that way. So it's going to hold down Shift and center it this way. I'm still holding Alt, by the way. Oh, and if you want these guides and stuff that I have, you go to View, Show, Smart Guides, and that basically just has these purple guides that I have that help center everything, and it really helps a lot. I've been using it for quite a while and it's helped so much. So we're going to change this to Instagram. Then we're going to put Instagram on top and put down your name on the bottom. And if you see guides like this, that means I'm holding Shift or something, and that's why it's like snapping. So there we have our Instagram. We're going to make this text a bit smaller, around 25. Let me just zoom out a bit and see. That'll be fine. Yeah, 25 is fine. And then I'll probably make this somewhere like 20 or 18. 17, 18, 17. Like that. Then what can we do now? I'm just gonna make sure this is aligned by selecting them both. There. So if you want these to be aligned, if you want the Instagram to be aligned to the top of that, just hold down Shift, select them both, click up there. My throat is already getting sore from talking so much. Hold down Shift, select them both, click there. Then we're going to create a new group, call this Instagram. We're going to select all three of these. Basically what we just did is select all of the stuff in here and put it inside a group. I'm going to go and make this Instagram icon look a bit better. So what I did is I added an inner shadow. I'm going to set this to default so that I can do it again. So we have our inner shadow right now. I'm going to go to soft light, change the opacity to 100, and then make this distance 2, make that distance 2, and then untick use global light. I actually want no, let's just untick that. And then we'll change this angle to 120. No, minus 55, which is opposite of 120 right now. So I'm going to change it to normal now. I'm going to turn down the opacity and make that around 20%. Then I'm going to add another one and just make this one a white one and change that to 120. Then we're going to change the color overlay and make this F5, F5, F5. So now it's an offsetted white, and then we have a white on top of it, which we can bring up the brightness a bit. I don't think I can actually see an effect here. No, so you can see a sort of lightish effect. I guess that looks okay. It looks a bit soft. I don't like that. So I'm going to try and make it a bit harder on the edges. Maybe if I change the size to 1. I'll change the size to 0, change that size to 0, make the distance 1, and make that distance 1. So it looks a bit flatter, but still a bit extruded. So we have Instagram at your name. We're going to change the Instagram and make this a bit smaller, like 20. I guess 20 is fine. 22. Is 22 good? Right. And then we're going to select these two, hold down Shift, move them to the side. We're going to make sure it's aligned at the top by selecting these two, aligning it to the top, selecting these two, aligning them to the bottom. My dad's probably going to walk in the room now, so I'm just going to pause it quick. Okay, he's gone. We're back right where we left off. I haven't touched this at all. So if there's a bit of a humming in the background, it's because the microwave is on, so not on now, so I'm sorry. Okay, so there we've done the Instagram, and I'm going to assume, let's say you have a Twitter or Facebook or something, we're just going to hold down Control J. We're going to duplicate this over here, so now we have 2 of them. We're going to just call this Twitter at your name, and then we're going to change the group name to Twitter as well. And then for this, all we have to do is we have to drag in a Twitter icon like that. We have a black Twitter icon. Then I'm going to right click on the Instagram, copy layer style, go onto the Twitter icon, paste layer style. So there we have all the blending options that we added onto the Instagram one. So it's going to align it this way and make sure it's the same size and height as well. Press enter, then we can go ahead and delete the Instagram, drag the Twitter icon into the Twitter, and there we have it. And let's just check if the distance is, yeah, there. The distance is the same now. So we're gonna drag the Twitter onto this side. There. Gonna drag the Instagram to this side, and I actually want this to, I'm just gonna change, my VA is on 40. I'm just gonna make it 0. So I'm actually gonna make it even smaller. There we go. I'm just making the space smaller so that this Twitter is on the edge of the E and not offset. So there we have our social networks. Social network. Boom. And I'm going to put the Instagram on top just because it's on the left, and it's just the way I order things. I like to be very organized. So we have your name, which I'm going to put on top, and then these. So there we have our base, and I'm just going to I'm going to find a nice wallpaper that I like, because I do not like that one. So we're going to go into wallpapers, soldiers and characters. I don't think there's anything nice in here, to be honest. Environment is usually where I find nice stuff. If I try this one, no. What can I use? No. I could just go with the base. Base meaning something like this, except I have a very offset like that. Offset bluish. But I really need to find something that I can work with. Okay, I'm gonna start off with this, right? I just changed the opacity to 30%. And then we are going to save it. And it's going to update through here. So there we have our base. We're going to save it here. Now, I'm going to duplicate it by holding down Alt and then dragging up. Then I'll make this somewhere on there. So I'm basically aligning the bottom to this layer here. Then I'm going to duplicate it again. Should I do that first? Okay, I'm just going to duplicate it again and align it there. So we're going to unvisibilize, make them hidden there. And then we're going to take this base one. We're going to drag that on top. Then we're going to start off with the bottom one, I believe. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the selection tool, which is up there. We're going to drag from the top edge all the way down to that corner over there. Then we're going to click this button down here with a circle inside a rectangle, which adds a layer mask on top of it. That basically just hid everything at the top. I mean, it just basically hid everything. If I apply that layer mask onto this main layer here, you'll see that it just basically hid everything at the bottom. It took the whole selection on top and said, okay, that will be visible. The bottom will be hidden. So I'm just going to delete it off here. So if I go onto the layer mask, which is this, and I hold down Control I, that will invert it. So basically what I've done is I've created the same layer. If I go and change something in here, like that, it will update through both of them, but I've just made this one cut off. And without, it's editable. I can cut it off. I can change the amount I want to cut it off. So this is very, very editable and customizable, and this is why I really wanted to teach it to you guys. So I'm going to go add this one again, save it. Boom, now it's updated through all three of these layers. So now we're going to go from the bottom left to the top right on this bottom layer. Over here, we're going to add another layer mask onto it, and then hold down Control I, invert it again. So basically what we've done is we've done this. We have three of them. We have a top one, which has the bottom part hidden. We have a bottom one, which has the top part hidden. And then we have the center one, which is the main one, this one. So we're going to call this channel out. We're going to call this is the bottom one. We're going to call this bottom. We're going to call this top. And then you could leave it like this, but just no, actually don't leave it like this. What we're going to do is we're going to put the top channel one on top. We're going to make a selection from this corner here to that corner there. We're going to add a layer mask here that's basically hidden all the edges and all the bottoms. So now we have this. Now you just see that part. If I do that on, you just see that, and you do that, you just see that. So there we have these three. Now I'm going to hold down Control, and let me actually create a rectangle and just align it here first, just so we have the centerpiece set. Then I'm going to hold down Control and press the button that I showed you guys earlier, which I don't know what it was called. We're going to call this squiggle from now on, because I don't know what this is called. I don't know what this is actually called. And we're going to hold down Control and press that I just typed. I think it's called a semicolon, to be honest. Like, I feel like an idiot right now. So that just basically hid all the guidelines. So now I actually don't know if I want these guidelines yet. Now we made this rectangle over here, this black one. We're going to turn the fill down to 0. We're going to call this overlay. And then we're going to go to blending options. We're going to go and create an inner shadow that's 90 degrees. The color will be set to white. We will make this 5. And do I want it to be on soft light is the question. Soft light really mixes well with the colors, which is what I like. And then we're going to make it around, let's see, 3, 5, 3. That seems okay. Then we're going to add another one of them and just make this -90 so that we have them on both sides. The reason why I didn't just go inner glow is because then it comes off the edges and stuff like that, and I don't like that. So that's what we've done. We're going to go back into blending options. We're going to create a outer glow, change it to normal, make this black and just fiddle around with this. How far do we want this to go? I guess that'll be fine. Then we're going to go to the bottom layer. We're going to go filter, blur, Gaussian blur. 10 pixels is fine. I would go 15. And it's wide off the edge there because it's blurring the pixels, and when it blurs the pixels a bit, I'm not even going to go into that, but it basically cuts off the edges on some layers. We're going to filter. It will save your last filter that you've used at the top, so you can either just go into blur there, Gaussian blur, or you can just go Control F and then just blur the top one as well. If you have white on the edges there, basically just change the background to a black color, and then just merge these two layers, and then you have a black background. So we're going to save this inside part, and we're going to save this outside part, and there already we have what we had here, something like this. It's very similar, but not quite. We still have a few things to do. So what we're going to do is what we're going to add is what am I saying? What we're going to do is we're going to add a top light, and I'm going to do that by going to the brush. That will be fine. I guess this will be fine. We're going to make this white, and then we're going to move this above all the layers. We're going to create it, convert it into a smart object. Then we're just going to drag it all the way up to there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and create a solid color, make it black. Then I'm going to go and delete this layer mask. Then I'm going to go and select the inside here and add another layer mask onto this color fill like that. Then I'm going to go Control I, which will invert it. And now we can see the effect of the light around here. Because if this is off, you'll be focusing on that area and you won't really see the actual effect. Because people mostly just see this area. They don't see the rest of that. And you want to focus on the center area. So by adding this, this is what we're seeing. And even if we save it here, you won't even notice a difference because I've cut it off really nicely. It's basically updating the smart objects. Oh, if you have a slow PC, this might be an issue because it has a lot to, I mean, actually do see the difference. It has a lot to think about and stuff, so you might want to be careful with that. So here we have our top light. I'm just going to stretch it out like that and then stretch it like that. There's our top light. We're going to duplicate this by holding down Alt and then clicking it and dragging down. I'm going to hold down Shift and drag down there. Then on the top one, we're just going to go and change this to a blue color. No, I didn't save it. I'm gonna go into the gradient map and just steal this blue color here. Whoops. Ugh, what am I doing? We're gonna steal this blue color here by copying it like that, and then we're going to go onto the top, which is now actually the bottom light, and we're going to go color overlay, and then just paste this light over here. So now we have a top light and a bottom light, and you can add whatever lights you want. I usually like adding, okay, we're gonna call these lights. We're gonna name this the top one. If you stop spamming me, I'm gonna go offline, don't worry about that. So I'm gonna go bottom. I'm gonna move this into a group, and then I'm gonna move this, your name onto the top there. So sorry, hold on, busy, there. It just stopped popping up now. So now what I like to do is I like to just add random lights around, like, not random, what am I saying? What am I saying? I like to add a light that's somewhere around the bottom here, and then I like to make it like 10%, 20%. If you want a shortcut to just change them like this, all you have to do is you have to just press the number on your keyboard. Like if you want it on 33, just press 3, there's 33. Why is it still doing this offline? Okay, so there we have a light there, and then I like duplicating it by holding down Alt. Once again, I've said that, and then putting it on top. And I don't know why it just has a really nice effect when you add those two and you don't have these. But that's just something that I like to do, and I like to have a center light as well combined with that. I'm just gonna center it here. I'm just giving you guys ideas of stuff that I like to do, and then make this like 10% or so. It's minor effects, but they all add in together. And soft light also works very well. If I make these on soft light, and then just increase the opacity. Soft light, those really work nicely as well. It really brightens out your, like, it's almost like vibrance, brightens out your image. But I'm going to keep the center one, delete the others outside, and then see if I want the center one or not. No, I don't. I'm gonna mess around with this, see if I want it to be on soft light or not. I might, and then I'll see if I want a soft light one of these. Actually, the soft light won't work because this layer, the layer blending, I don't even know what it's called, interferes. It's different to here. So let's just see if I soft light this. Oh, that won't work. This is actually tricky. I don't want to get too complicated, so I'll just leave it on blue. And then I'll duplicate this top one and make this one normal. So we have a sort of white base like that. There we go. Something like this. And then like that. So we're gonna, and this is exactly why I added this, so you guys can see what was going on, because this area here doesn't matter. You won't see that. So I'm just gonna untick that, save it, and then go into here, and there we have our channel art. Yay kids. I don't like the way it's fading like that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click. Did I already add the, no, I don't think I did. I'm going to right click, go to color overlay, make this black, and then 50%, just so it has some sort of separation, I would say. So now you're focusing on the center if this is like on a TV, and you won't really pay attention to that. And what you could also do is you could just add a second, can't add a second outer glow, that's new. I did not know that. Okay, we're just gonna add a drop shadow, make the distance 0, and then spread it out like that, make it 100, somewhere around there. And just do something like that, and then just turn down the opacity. There we go. Now you can't really notice it. So that's what the overlay does. That's the middle, and those are the outsides. So as you can see, if you go into, I'm just going to close this again so you guys can see. If I double click this channel art here, if I take away your name, save it, updates all through all three of them. And that's why I like it so much. And this is why I've urged people, I've tried to teach them what smart objects are and stuff like that, and they just like rasterize everything, and I hate that. I hate it. But I guess it's fine. You can see that the blue's going over these layers over here, and that's an issue. So we're going to put the social networks above the lights. And what if I put the lights below here? Below here. See here, now you see there's a difference. So you can make it whatever you like, but I like it like this. And then I would put the gradient fill above that. So that we have gradient, lights, gradient fill. And then we're going to fiddle around with your name as well, just in case you guys don't really know. If you don't want it blank, we're gonna try and do something like this. Make this 3, make this 3. White 120, 100% normal. Then I'm gonna just make this like a blue. I'm just gonna copy the blue. Then I'm going to duplicate it, make this minus 55, make this black, and then just turn down the opacity to like 20, and then turn that opacity down to like 20. Then I'll probably go into blending options, change this to 550, make the size 100, and then maybe turn that down, turn that down. Then I'll even add a gradient overlay, make this 100. I'll do this, do that, make this black, change it to screen, turn on the opacity, just around there, and I guess that would be fine. I would just make this a white, and then maybe go into the gradient, not the gradient, the bevel. Turn that darkness down a bit. And then go into the gradient, make that like 3%. There we have your name, guys. Oh my god. Don't think there's much else to teach. If you toggle these back on by holding the semicolon, holding down control, semicolon, there you'll have your guides back on. Control, semicolon, you have your guides back on. Control, semicolon, you have your guides back off so you can see your final image. So we're going to save this, let it update through, updating smart objects, and there we go. I actually don't like that being blue. I do not, sir, do not, sir. And let's say if it's blue, right? And let's say if you want all of this to be red. Just out of, I'm just going to teach you this, guys. I'm teaching you this stuff anyway, just in case. If you want all this to be red, you could go into hue saturation, change it to whatever color you like. But if there are things like if there's a background that is orange and then your text is like blue, what you want to do is you want to go to gradient map, make sure that the side is black, and then the other side is orange, and that'll basically. The problem is it turns the whites into orange as well, which is an issue. But you could do that with hue and saturation. If there's oranges there and your text is like blue, just go to colorize, and that should solve the issue. But it can make it very dull, so you'd have to turn up the saturation and stuff. It takes a lot of fiddling to get used to it, and this is basically how you change the color. If I want this to be a very reddish channel art, I would save this and then let it update through quickly, and then you have your reddish channel art. So that's done. Then you just go to File, Save for Web, JPEG, very high quality, 80%. It doesn't have to be above 80. Like it can even be on 60. People won't really notice the difference. The file size should generally be below 4 megabytes, and that's fine, which you can see down here. Save it to whatever you want it to be, and there you have it. This is your channel art, guys. Let me just zoom out here. Yay! So I hope I've taught you guys a lot, and I hope you guys have learned quite a lot. If I haven't been detailed enough, I've really tried to, then I'm sorry. Just comment down below, just let me know. And I thought I'd just give you guys a Photoshop tutorial because I have not done that in a really long time. I hope the audio is fine. If it's not, that's gonna suck because my voice is really sore. But I basically taught you about smart objects, a bit about layer masks and blurring. Then I've also taught you about how to add your own name, some blending options with that, some social networking icons, and some aligning tools as well. I've also taught you how to add shadows and lights to your project to make it look very, how can I say, pop out. And I've also showed you how to separate that with that, and then it also looks a bit beveled. If you want it to look a bit more beveled, you could just go to bevel and emboss, make this around 550. 550, change that to 200 once again, and then just change down that to somewhere around there. Like that, and then maybe if I go with something smoother like this. There we go. There, it looks a bit more beveled, but I prefer it without. But it all depends on how you prefer it. So I hope I've taught you guys a lot, and if you're a beginner, then you should also learn quite a lot. Oh, and this is why I made the gradient map. This is why I made the gradient, so that it fades off the edges. If the gradient wasn't there, gradient probably wouldn't look as good. I don't know. Depends. We'll see. Oh, it hasn't really. Oh, they can see it a bit on that side, but basically, yeah, you can change the background to whatever background you want. You can just go save it in here, and then you're gonna see what it looks like. See, we just changed the background and it updates. So I hope I've taught you guys a lot. If you guys do enjoy these tutorials, I don't really have much else to teach. I do have a bit, but it's not really that important. So hope I've taught you guys a lot. If you guys enjoy, I do appreciate a like, and I can't thank you guys enough for your support. It's been hybrid. No, it's